You know, I never used to care about how I dressed on vacation until at some point I realized that I wasn't very comfortable, I didn't look great in my vacation photos, and I didn't always wear the most practical thing for the activity at hand. Like one time I wore a dress and white slippers to hike Mount Vesuvius. So now that I've been stepping up my wardrobe for the past few years, I developed this system that ensures that I will look great, that I'll have perfect functionality for whatever activities I'm doing, and best of all, it keeps me from overpacking. So in this video, I'm going to share that system with you, and I'm going to spill the secret on how I always have incredible outfits to wear when I travel without spending hundreds of dollars buying new clothes. Stay tuned for that. But before we get into that, be sure to subscribe for more travel inspo and how-to content. Okay, so this is a 4-part process. And the first part of this process is the planning. Planning is the most important thing you need to do when putting together your travel wardrobe, because planning is going to allow us to figure out what we need and when. So for the purposes of this video, I'm going to use my most recent trip to Bali and Komodo Island in Indonesia to help walk you through how I use this process. And we're going to start by using my handy packing template, which you can get a copy of in the description below. So the first thing I need to know on my trip template is how many travel days are we going to be away? How many nights? How many days? Then I want to know, is there laundry available? I feel like laundry is so overlooked when we're traveling. Using laundry service is the best way to ensure that you don't overpack, and you can get away with multiple weeks of clothing in just a carry-on. And the last thing I'm going to want to make note of here is any key moments or activities where we're going to want special items. So things like we're going hiking, we're going snorkeling or scuba diving, if there's like a formal dinner or fancy dinner that you want to bring a cool dress for, if you're doing like a photo shoot or something you want to bring a moment for. These are all things that we want to make sure that we are specifically allocating items of clothing for. All right, now I have my outline of the trip itself. The next thing I want to do is research my destination. So number one thing I'm going to do is look up the weather, which sounds so basic, but you cannot believe how many times I've forgotten to check the weather wherever I'm going. I live in Southern California, so I am not used to cold or rain. And darn if I'm not surprised every time I go somewhere and it's raining and I don't have a raincoat. So you can look up the weather on weather.com, or you can even just search like, what's the weather in October in Bali? And you'll get at least a range of temperatures so you know sort of like what field we're playing in here. The second thing I'm gonna do is research the destination to like get the vibe. So this is super simple. You can just Google like what to wear in Bali, what to wear in Iceland in the summer. This is going to help ensure that you don't show up looking like super formal when the vibe is really casual, or vice versa. So the vibe for Bali this time is casual. It's kind of like boho chic. There's a lot of like anthropology, free people moments going on. This is where I really love to use a site like Pinterest and create a mood board. So I sort of feel like what colors I want to play in, sort of what fabrics, what cuts that I want to feel like. This just like helps me hold a whole picture together so that when I'm taking items with me, it's just not a bunch of random stuff I grabbed from my bureau that doesn't work or doesn't look great. This is really a step to curating the wardrobe and not just packing. Okay, now that I know what I need to take for my trip, and now I know what vibe we're going for and what's going to be appropriate in the destination, it's time to move on to select and order. What are we selecting? What are we ordering? Well, my secret weapon whenever I travel is to use Rent the Runway. Rent the Runway is a clothing rental service that allows for one-time rentals and for membership options. I have had a membership for years now. It costs me $144 a month. I get to take out 5 pieces at a time. I can pay extra to add additional spots. But this way I'm getting access to thousands of dollars of clothing and only paying $144. So Rent the Runway is a great option to build a travel capsule wardrobe. If you want to know more about Rent the Runway, I did a review video a while back. I probably need to update that, but I'll put that up here somewhere so that you can watch that. And if you want to try Rent the Runway for yourself, I've got a discount code that gets you 40% off your first month of membership. I'll put that in the description. So months out before a trip, I will start to build a Rent the Runway wish list that's titled with my destination, and I'll just keep adding things to it. I'll share it with friends, they'll add things to it. It really helps me like get in the mindset and get in the vibe of wherever we're going. So I'll do this for a couple months. And then when I get down to about 2 weeks before the trip, I go ahead and order the 5 pieces that I want to have. And I want to do this 2 weeks before the trip because I want to make sure that the piece fits really well and that it's as expected. Sometimes you'll get a piece and you're like, oh, this is beautiful, but it's too heavy, and so it's not going to work in a tropical destination. So that one goes back, and you still have time to swap it out for something else that will work really well. Then you want to go through what you have existing and pull things that might work. So for this trip to Bali, it was like shorts and tank tops. I wanted to take 3 pairs of shorts, 3 tank tops, and just be able to alternate and mix and match those 6 pieces. Again, this is where laundry comes in super handy, because if I needed to actually wear clean shorts for 2 weeks, I'd be taking a lot of pair of shorts. Personally, when I travel, Athleta and Vuori are like my go-tos. They have this sort of athletic wear vibe that don't look like I'm going to the gym. So after you go through, you pull what you have, you pick out the few pieces that are going to work really well. You want to identify any gaps that you have and go ahead and place your orders. So this is where sometimes, yeah, you are going to have to buy a couple of new things, but hopefully these are things that are usable in your everyday life or usable across multiple trips and not just like one sort of hero outfit for a trip. So for a hero outfit, that's where I want to use something like Rent the Runway, where I'm not going to buy this thing to have all the time. But for everyday wear, that's something that I might go ahead and purchase from like a Vuori or an Athleta. All in all, I got pretty easy. I bought 2 swimsuits and a fancy hat. I didn't need the fancy hat, but I wanted it. Okay, now we've planned, we've selected, and we've ordered. Now we gotta go through and allocate. Okay, so here's my rule when I travel. I don't want options. I think this is where a lot of people go wrong when they're packing, because they start to think like, oh, I might want this, or I might want this, or I might wanna have this like as an option. And then you end up bringing like 12 t-shirts that you don't need. Okay, so my rule is I wanna know what I'm wearing for each activity. Doesn't have to be day by day, but I want to know that like this dress is going to be used for that dinner and for like a swimsuit cover up, or that dress is going to be used for the photo shoot that we're doing on Wednesday, or I've got, 3 pairs of shorts that I can choose from when we're doing any other activity. And I want all of these things to be able to mix and match with at least one other item. Meaning if I'm bringing black shorts and I'm bringing green shorts, I know that my white tank top goes with either. Okay, so eliminate the possibility, the temptation of overpacking by choosing exactly what you want to wear now. Now, when I get my Rent the Runway order, I love to unpack it, and then I will actually create tags that I will use to hang on the hangers and like tag key moments. So I literally weeks out start to like build the wardrobe in my closet so that I know what I'm taking. It helps me like get in the mood. It helps me identify where like maybe I'm missing a piece. And then, I don't know, it just makes me feel like I've got my own personal stylist for my own trip. Even though I am the stylist, I'm doing all the work, but makes you feel fancy. The other thing here is like, don't be afraid to wear something more than once. On this trip, I had 2 cotton dresses that I wore all the time. I would throw them on as a swimsuit cover. I would wear it to dinner. It was just a really easy, casual piece. It was cute, looked nice, but I was able to use it multiple times over and over again. All right, so tag your key moments. Don't take options. Wear things more than once. Make sure things can be used with multiple pieces. Yeah, that's about the key. Those are the keys to making sure you don't overpack for a trip and that you have all the clothes that you need to always feel put together and fabulous. So now that we got that down, we move to step 4, which is packing. Okay, so packing everything in your suitcase is like the final check to make sure that you have everything that you need for this trip, that it's organized and you're ready to go. So start with a clean service, lay everything out, organize it, pack it however you prefer. So for me, personally, I like to use Aloha bags as sort of like packing cubes, and I will put like all of my casual outfits in one packing cube Aloha bag. I will put my fancy dresses, as much as they'll fit, into another one. I'll put my swimsuits into another one. It just makes it really easy for me to pull out what I need if I'm in a situation where like I can't fully unpack. Now the other trick here is if you have curated this wardrobe for yourself and you're like, I am not gonna remember what I wanted to wear on X day. You can just take a picture of whatever you're packing and like write yourself a little note on the picture. Or you can even just like pack those tags that I told you to make for those hangers. Now, one special thing before we go, I want to talk about airplane clothes. When I am on a super long airplane flight, like I am for this one, 17 hours from San Francisco to Singapore, for that flight, I want to be comfortable. Absolutely, I want to be comfortable. But I also don't want to wear pajamas or like a Juicy Couture sweatsuit. So comfortable, but also put together. So this for me is where I love those Viore joggers or a Viore tank top, nice sweatshirt that I can throw on, whatever it is that's going to keep me feeling comfortable, but also a little bit stylish. And I highly, highly, highly recommend packing a spare set of clothes in your carry-on bag for the airplane. You're going to be like transiting for 24, 26, 36 hours. You might want to change clothes. You might spill something on yourself. You might start to smell. These things happen. At the bare minimum, a change of underwear or a change of pants. Just trust me. Just pack that in your carry-on bag so you've got options. Also, when you land at your destination, if for some reason your bag doesn't make it, you've got a spare set of clothes. I also, on the trip to Indonesia, packed a swimsuit in my backpack just in case, because I wanted to be able to get in the pool as soon as I got there. Okay, that's everything I got. Hopefully this helped you to create a wardrobe so that you feel amazing and fabulous and put together whenever you travel to a new destination. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like so that others can find it. And until next time, go create a life you love.